Good morning, security gang, and welcome back to the CyberHub Podcast. What a week it has been. This is our Thursday show, October 30th, 2025. Final show for the week. Next week, obviously, we do these shows Monday through Thursday. I don't do these shows Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Those are, as a full-time CISO, it's hard enough to kind of, do a podcast every single day. Nonetheless, I need a few days to catch up. So, on tomorrow we'll have email available only on email, and our LinkedIn, our weekly newsletter with all the news you've missed, everything summarized beautifully, amazingly in our newsletter. You can find that at cyberhubpodcast.com or on the CyberHub Podcast LinkedIn page through subscribing to our newsletter function right there. And then Saturday morning, exclusively on cyberhubpodcast.com, the cybersecurity job market. We talk about layoffs, offshoring, and some of the risks that come with it, as well as a bunch of theories around what's exactly going to happen in 2026, because we're in November. I mean, we're literally a few days from November. Also, tomorrow, Halloween. For everyone celebrating, happy Halloween. I'm not a big Halloween person. Like, I don't like costumes, right? Those that have been watching the show for a while remember back in 2020 in November, when we used to do a Veteran November, that I did a Paisley challenge, and we raised money for the Wounded Warrior Project, and I wore Paisley for about a whole week, and those episodes are readily available on YouTube. You guys can go and check those out. Either way, yeah, I mean, I'm not a big Halloween person, but if you are celebrating Halloween, happy Halloween to you. And just remember, exercise safety. A lot of very people that take advantage of naiveness. So practice safety, check your kids' candy, all that good stuff. Make sure you've got an eye on them the entire time. That'll go a long way towards all of that. All right. And very important, by the way, something I just want to kind of touch on it this morning. Touching grass. I was having a conversation with my wife yesterday at dinner, and we were chatting, and she goes, my wife's independent. She works for her own. She's a very successful entrepreneur. And one of the things we were talking about was what's happening online. And as many people who watch this show, we live online. And one of the things I pride myself on is disconnecting from online on the 3 days I don't do the show, and actually touching grass, talking to people, even after the show, getting out, touching grass, talking to people. That's so important. Don't believe everything you see online. Everything you see online is just a magnitude. It's a magnitude. It's a small micro percentage. It's not even a sample size of what real life is all about. So every now and then, get out, touch grass, enjoy it. Now join me for a coffee cup cheers and a packed show today. My double espresso, coffee cup cheers, y'all. I hope I wasn't too preachy this morning, but as I like to say, sometimes there's something on my heart. All right, so Canada is saying hacktivists breached their water and energy facilities, tampering with some of their ICS systems. The Canadian Center for Cybersecurity warning that hacktivists recently accessed and even modified controls at a water plant, an oil and gas, an oil and gas firm, and even an agricultural facility, triggering false alarms and risks of unsafe conditions. The common thread was internet exposed ICS and OT assets with weak authentication. And I'll tell you this, as someone who's been in energy and is in oil and gas, I'll say this: safety, top priority. In cyber, we have the CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You add an S to that, and it's the CSCIS, because safety trumps it all. In power plants and oil and gas, in a lot of those environments, safety trumps everything else. Safety. And when you think of the business impact of this, potentially could create a real, not an availability issue, but a safety issue. People could die because people would react a specific way to an event that could lead to catastrophic loss of life. So there's a lot there as well. You should yank your PLC and HMI admins, by the way, from the internet. You want to really obfuscate your OT network from the internet. So, like, in some cases, you want to use a network obfuscation tool. People say data diodes or firewalls, and all of those are fine, but you can still breach those and get through and see your network You want to obfuscate your network in OT environments, 100%. You don't want anyone to see what's downstream from it. You should force VPN and MFA on those old, by the way, MFA on those old ICS and OT devices. That's not a possibility at all. So again, network obfuscation goes a very, very, very long way. And then disconnecting from the internet, shutting down all ports and communication unless necessary would also do that. And then you want to restrict vendor remote access, which is very important there as well. So that story coming out of Canada this morning kind of shaking me up a little bit as well. As someone who's in the industry, I can tell you the idea that someone could mess around with control systems as well is it's a doomsday scenario for many of us. We'll continue with this data breach notice coming out of Conduit, where 10 million plus people were impacted across state and healthcare programs. Conduit, a large government contractor, disclosing a January incident, now confirming to affect nearly 10 million individuals across multiple states and HIPAA-covered programs. The personal health information exposure at this scale is likely for some cohorts. So this one really getting extremely significant. Again, this is something that happened over a few years. Conduit disposes and provides technology solutions for programs like Medicaid, child support, food assistance, roadway tolls, and even more. Disperses around $85 billion in government payments annually, handles 2.3 billion customer service interactions, supporting over 100 million Americans all in all. Conduit said 400,000 people had information exposed in Texas, including social security numbers, medical information, and even health insurance. And you can see the impact state by state there. It's quite significant. Conduit has $754 million in revenue in the last fiscal quarter and spent $2 million related to the investigation and remediation of said event. So not even a touch of dime in terms of what they actually make and do that. So you want to be mindful of people trying to phish or even steal your benefits if you are on government benefits. And you definitely want to double check and make sure your information and you've got the right monitoring in place. We move to traders, and this one's significant. A Peter Williams, 39, stole at least 8 cyber exploit components of software associated, selling them to Russia. The DOJ says that he stole and sold U.S. cyber trade secrets for $1.3 million. He's pleaded guilty in the case, underscoring the insider risk, inside offensive tooling shops, and even the resale of capabilities to adversaries. Again, it's treason, full stop, right? 100% treason. So Peter has now pled guilty to doing this, likely part of a deal. According to the facts presented in connection to the plea, Williams entered written contracts with the broker, was promised millions of dollars in crypto in exchange for the stolen exploits. He pled guilty to 2 counts of theft, carrying a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. So the DOJ didn't share details on the victim company or the stolen exploit during trial, keeping that under wraps. So all of that's there. Then the Russian broker, obviously an unindicted co-conspirator in the case. Well, Microsoft, AWS, and so many others have had DNS issues over the last 10 days. Yesterday, the DNS issue impacting Azure and Microsoft 365's hitting portals and some services. According to Microsoft, the misconfiguration impacting Azure front door and DNS path caused widespread issues accessing Azure into an Exchange admin and more. Microsoft deployed a fix, but the downtime did kind of renew the discussion over on-prem versus cloud. Don't rush to on-prem. On-prem isn't any better. The only difference is it had less of an impact. What Microsoft and AWS need to answer for is better resiliency. How do you make sure this stuff doesn't happen? And by the way, 7-8 days from each other, call me someone suspicious that all of this is just fat-fingered mistakes at AWS and Azure. There might be a greater underlying cause. We don't know yet. I don't have any evidence of it. Otherwise, all I know is if it smells like fish and it looks like fish, it's fishy. And we should ask questions. All right, Chrome 142 is out fixing 20 security vulnerabilities. Google shipped this out with 20 fixes. So you want to make sure you get this update out to all your Chromium, all your Chrome-based devices, as some of these vulnerabilities were high risk vulnerabilities, but the rollout is there. So go get that done. We'll move to researchers calling on a surge in automated botnets, even hammering PHP, IoT, and even cloud gateways. Researchers are reporting a sharp increase in the Mirai or the Gafigite Mosaic style campaigns abusing known remote code executions and PHP frameworks and IoT gear like PHP Unit or Laravel or Think PHP or even DBK DVRs. You want to patch some of these CVEs. You want to rate limit and geofence admin panels. You should put WAF rules on your legacy PHP routes, and you should block outbound to known botnets C2. And that should be something automatic within your environment, by the way. I can tell you we were on a call yesterday with one of our security partners, and that was something we definitely discussed. So these CVEs that they're taking advantage of, by the way, are 2017 Niner 841, 2021 3129er, and 2022 479er 45. So you want to make sure you get these patched up. There's also CV 2022 229er 47 and 2024 3721. All of those are also being taken advantage of, those botnets. If these exist in your environment, you want to make sure you get these patched up ASAP. So some cloud SPN and Krepros reflections as AD abuse is getting much, much easier. The new write-up is detail how chaining service principal names and manipulation like ghost SPNs with Krepros reflections to escalate privileges, with Microsoft assigning a recent CVE for some of these related PEs. That's CVE 2025-33073, according to the disclosed Microsoft Research Center on June 25th, and confirmed as an important severity by July 2022. They've patched up a whole bunch of these, like CVE 2025-58726. All of these coming together make it really, really easy to actually ghost in and take advantage of those environments and even move lateral, change some of your DNS records, the whole nine. So you should hub for any abnormal SPN creations and require privileged access workstations for domain admins. Will go a really, really long way. MITRE finally revealing an updated version 18, landing with detection, mobile, and ICS updates to the attack framework. The October refresh as adding techniques, group campaign, and even software updates. Notably in mobile and ICS, we're finding detection guidance you can map directly into your SIM and SOAR. So you should check this out, especially if you've got anything in your OT environment and mobile fleets using by execs or even field techs, something that will go a very, very long way. And finally, in news coming out of the NSA, new leadership vacancies and churn, we should see some names and some order coming into the agency now. Reporting has highlighted ongoing changes for NSA's top post, director, and senior legal roles, with shortlists circulating for deputy general counsel and leadership decisions around the dual hat with Cyber Command. Again, NSA has kind of been something that the Trump administration has flirted, of separating the NSA from U.S. Cyber Command. In April, Air Force General Timothy Hoth and his top NSA deputy were both let go due to some questions over stuff that they've done or kind of where their goals remain in terms of that. And now the refresh is looking like might be coming back. General William Hartman could potentially be a name. Army Lieutenant General Paul Stanton, Air Force Lieutenant General Thomas Hensley. These guys are all qualified individuals to lead the dual hat agency, but the agency definitely needs good leaders, and they need them now on cyber. Again, CISA still doesn't have a director because Senator Wyden is still holding that up. So you have that to live with as well. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, a lot taking place in the administration at the moment. So we'll see where this lands. That's it for our show this morning. Again, cyberhubpodcast.com is where you'll find a lot. Again, over the weekend, we also dropped a cyber due diligence for CISOs. If you go through M&As, you're looking for a little playbook, that's definitely available there. You can take a look at some of the budget stuff we've done. It is budget season. You're working on it. All of this is available on our website at cyberhubpodcast.com, all for free once you subscribe. Our Saturday article goes out first to our paid members. It's then about a week later, free for everyone else. So if you choose to support the podcast, you can do so right there. And you'll get first access to exclusive content. Until then, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, like, comment. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great Halloween. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern here live with all the latest. Until then, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.